Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Kevin Tweddle, Senior Executive Vice President, Community Bank Solutions.
All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to ICBA Live. I know we're starting to have a few sessions here, but welcome to ICBA Live. Welcome to ThinkTECH, our showcase here, and welcome to Orlando, the city where dreams come true. And speaking of dreaming, our focus today, of course, is innovation. And really, you know, our work at ICBA is really working on two key questions. You know, we've got rapid change and digital transformation happening in our industry today. You know, so how do we as community banks flourish in this new industry reality? How do we blend the strengths of community banking, the relationship, and blend it with today's modern technology delivery? So we spent a lot of time and effort in trying to figure that out. You're going to see a little bit of how we're trying to answer that in our event today. We want to find a way to spur innovation and provide a boost or help for banks in doing what they can't do on their own. So what can we as an association bring to bear to help you all that what you couldn't do on an individual basis? We also wanted to take action. There's been a lot of talk in our industry about what to do and what we can and can't do. We want it to be action-based, and that's exactly what this showcase and really what our accelerator program is all about. It was the great Walt Disney, who's not too far from here. The way to get started is to quit talking and start doing, and that's really what our focus has been. You know, what more can we do? We believe the future of banking, and particularly community banking, fintech partnerships are going to be absolutely critical. So what can we do at ICBA to help facilitate that? Help make that better, help make it more efficient. When I started innovation here at ICBA a little over 2 years ago, I felt there were two strategies out there, and both were causing some concern when it came to innovation. One was avoidance altogether, and the other one was reliance on one or two other vendors for your innovation. Well, what we're doing at ICBA and what we're doing as part of this program is putting innovation back in your hands as part of your strategy and give you more control over that. You know, this is really what led to our accelerator program, giving you more control over your innovation, to embrace relationship banking, to make a difference to your customers, and then in turn, obviously, make an improvement and difference to your communities. Last year, we debuted our inaugural ThinkTECH showcase. So this is our 2.0 version, back and better than ever. Our focus categories, and again, we start with a bank selection committee. We've expanded our bank selection committee for a diverse group of bankers across the country, all types of community banks with different needs and different skill sets to really help us identify what are those priorities, what are those things that we want to focus on, and what areas can fintech help you. And some of the areas you're going to see today, you're going to see lending, marketing, customer acquisition, data and analytics, fraud and risk, and financial wellness. So that's the feedback we receive from you. Now you're going to hear from the companies we went out and sought after and have trained and worked with over the last 10 weeks to kind of, to better serve you as community banks. You know, we're in week 10. We're already undergoing our program. We are not finished yet. We're in week 10 of our 12-week program. And just to give you some numbers, we've already had 48 bankers representing 35 banks come to the accelerator program in Little Rock and give their feedback to our cohort. You know, as much as we're doing this for you as community banks, we're spending a lot of time with this cohort to really teach them community banking. What are the things that you're grappling with every day? How can they better solve your problems? So that's been a huge part of our focus. You know, as part of this process and some of the advantage we have at ICBA is our outreach in the industry. We've had 5 of the regulatory agencies come visit us, give feedback to the cohort, talk to our bankers about some of the challenges they're having. We've had 6 core processing companies. Obviously, you're going to have to work with core processing companies eventually as a fintech, so let's make them part of the solution and have them help us out. So really feel good about really the 2.0 version of our program. You know, as community banks need fintech partnerships, we needed a partner to put this program together. Wayne Miller, who you're going to meet in a moment, and the Venture Center team have been really invaluable to really helping us make this a reality and this program a reality. They really embraced our vision and brand of what we wanted to do. There's a lot of accelerator programs across the country, but this is unique. You know, a lot of those programs are based, run by venture capitalists, and they're just looking for high returns on investments. This is a mission-based accelerator. Our mission is to better serve you with the very best solutions to better serve your banks that are really targeted and positioned for community banks and to focus on you. So the Venture Center team really understood this. They embraced it. They're 100% behind our mission, and it's been a wonderful partnership and will continue to be a wonderful partnership. Why do we choose the Venture Center? They've been at this for about 5 years now. They really know how to run a program, and they really understand community banking, which is very unique. They engineer the 12-week program. We had 180 applicants. You're going to hear the 9 finalists for this program. So you think of the due diligence it takes to kind of narrow that down in the decision-making process. They have been integral in that process for us. I get the question a lot. It's like, Kevin, why are you in Little Rock? You guys are based in D.C. and Sauk Center, but what about Little Rock? Well, obviously that's where the Venture Center is, so that's one reason. But another reason is really they put this program together. So the synergy with the governor of Arkansas, the city of Little Rock, the local economic development councils have really come together and allow this program to happen. Give the Venture Center the resources they need, and then we sponsor the program, add our resources to really make it a wonderful program. I love the fact that the Venture Center office is listed on, and the actual address is Main Street. How appropriate is that for our group? The group that represents Main Street, our ThinkTECH Center is on Main Street in Little Rock, Arkansas. So today you'll witness the fruits of our efforts, really hopefully literally judge for yourselves what you think of the solutions that we've spent the last 10 weeks working with these wonderful entrepreneurs in developing. So you'll hear more information a little bit later on how you can vote for kind of the best of show candidate here. So we really, you can use your ICBA mobile app. So we're adding innovation to the process as well. So you can use the app to vote. You'll hear more about that a little bit later. Well, thank you again for your support of really this extraordinary program. I feel like we've been doing it for about 5 years. This is really only year 2, but we're excited about the changes we've made here. And we really, the efforts we have here, we really believe they're tied to our ultimate mission is promoting an environment where community banks like you can flourish. So we're excited about that. All right, I'm going to introduce now my good friend Wayne Miller. He's the executive director of the Venture Center. He's going to say a few words before we kick off our demos. And again, a little bit later, after the demos, we'll have a chance to meet everybody and engage at our ThinkTECH Mixer right before the welcome reception. Before I introduce Wayne, we're going to kick off with a little bit of video we put together. Again, we had so many participants in the program, and you'll get to hear a little bit about the program and some of the feedback from our ICBA leadership and the folks that have been able to attend. And then we'll hand it over to Wayne. Have a great day, everybody.
The future of banking from a technology perspective is a really interesting question because it's at the heart of what we do. As we think about community banks and the time-honored tradition of relationship banking, technology helps us carry that forward into the future.
We realize that banking and financial technology are kind of coming together. So we as an association are really trying to facilitate that change and trying to figure out what's the best way that we could do that. And we felt this accelerator program was an ideal way to do it.
One of the unique aspects from the perspective of both community bankers and the entrepreneurs who are in the startup fintech space is that in one place you can get a large variety of ideas and perspectives, and that creates a very collaborative effort and effect on the part of building out these solutions for the bankers.
I don't know if it's so much pain points, but I think we're all trying to find a way to enhance the customer experience. And I think many of the companies in this year's lineup of the ThinkTECH program offer us unique ways to do it.
The energy is really high. You can tell that they're not just going through the motions. These people believe in what they're doing. ICBA is sending a strong message to our members and to community banks generally that we care about the industry, and that we want to try to do something that will really make a difference. As these companies are developing their products, you can see how they will fit into the mix for a lot of community banks and really make it a lot better and a lot easier for them to service their customers.
The companies are very creative. I think technology has come along that has really leveled the playing field. I'm probably more excited about community banking today than I was 30 years ago.
I have to completely tell you that I enjoy seeing all the different ideas and the passion. What I found interesting today, though, was a lot of folks brought in family experiences and how community banks impacted them and how that took them on their journey for what they're delivering today. And it's nice to see that we're going to have an opportunity to partner with a lot of these companies in order to deliver a more frictionless experience down the line and be able to compete against the bigger guys.
Good stuff. Good afternoon, Kevin. Thank you. You know, it's an honor for the Venture Center to produce this second iteration of the ICBA ThinkTECH Accelerator and to be here with you all in live. I'm going to ask you all to indulge me for a minute. I'd like you all to stand up if you would, please. And I would like you to join me giving the leadership of the ICBA and these FinTech founders a standing ovation for their dedication to bringing innovation for community banking into this decade. Good deal. Good deal. This is courageous work for sure. I have the job of saying a lot of thank yous, which are very heartfelt, and I want to start with the leadership of the ICBA. Rebecca, Kevin, Charles, Tina, Elise, Tricia, and so many others. You know, one of the most important ingredients for our program is that the people at the top care, because then others do. And without you all, this program would not be successful. I want to thank the ICBA Selection Committee. This was 15 bankers who dedicated themselves to ensuring that the solutions that you're looking at were relevant to the concerns and the experiences that you're having within your banks. I would like my team to stand. Brian, Mimi, Nora, Ashley, Daniel, who's in back making sure that the train runs on time, and also Becky. These guys, I am so fortunate to be able to lead such an extraordinary team, and they are the best. Thank you. And finally, I want to thank the 100+ bankers, subject matter experts, executive committee members who literally came to the Venture Center and left their mark this year. We started with a white wall. And, you know, we always tell people, a lot of people come here, so now we have proof, right? That's good. But really, we appreciate your contribution in helping sculpt, mold, and shape these solutions, and again, make sure they're relevant to the concerns and the challenges that you have. You know, we started off on a path 2 years ago, as Kevin mentioned, and again, on a mission to help the ICBA and its membership deal with this changing world of FinTech. You know, there are some real threats to community banks. To start with, we have non-bank challengers who are changing the expectation for service delivery, who are looking to create processes that are free and frictionless, and these require a high level of integration and technology to make those things successful. We have younger populations, these millennials, 44%, who are completely intolerant, right, of antiquated processes and claim that people like BOA, obviously Chase and Wells are their primary institution. And lastly, we have 32% of banks, according to Bank Director, who say their greatest threat is their capacity to keep up with technology. Some would also suggest that community banks are disadvantaged because they don't have the resources to be able to invest in creating these new solutions. Furthermore, what technologies or solutions do you pick? I think we've been helpful there. Understanding this thing called data that you'll hear about today and how to deploy it to more effectively attract customers, to manage compliance, and those sorts of things. And lastly, being able to confidently manage risk, compliance, reduce fraud, and enhance that customer experience. But we also know that community banks have great strengths. multi-generational relationships that go back 3 and 4 generations. We know that they are pillars in their communities and they can influence change. They live on Main Street, and we know that brick and mortar still matters. Lastly, we have the collective power of the ICBA, and look what we have accomplished in just 2 years. Henry Ford said it best, I think. Coming together is the beginning, keeping together is progress, and working together is success. Shortly, you will see evidence of how the ICBA and the Venture Center are working together to help community banks reinforce their strengths, tackle their challenges, and collectively help to mitigate the variety of threats that they face today while continuing to leverage the great assets to enhance the journey that their customers are expecting. These are exciting times. I thank you, and let me introduce, please join me in welcoming Charles Potts, Senior Vice President of Innovation, to talk more about how the Venture Center and the ICBA are helping community banks flourish.
Thank you. I was just told earlier I'm the youngest millennial or the oldest millennial in here, so let's prove it and see everybody say ThinkTECH. Come on, ThinkTECH. Thank you. I'm actually probably one of the most lucky people to be here. I am, for some of you, the Senior Vice President and Chief Innovation Officer for the ICBA in week 9 of my new role, and I couldn't be happier with all of the things that I've been able to see and do in this short period of time. Many of those things involve working with a number of you. I've had the pleasure of meeting many of you in Little Rock at the ThinkTECH Accelerator, working with our great team at the ICBA, our great partners at the Venture Center, and these great companies. Part of the themes that you've been hearing from Kevin and Wayne reflect upon commitment. Commitment. It's not just the commitment of these startup founders who have relocated to Little Rock for 12 weeks, but it's commitment of everybody in this room. You, the bankers, your role, your efforts, your knowledge, your expertise that has been given to this program. See, I use speaker notes here instead of on paper. Commitment is defined as that quality or state of being dedicated to a cause or activity. And this is what you're seeing here is commitment. Commitment from everybody, from the ICBA, from you, from these vendors, to create a way to bring solutions to you to help your banks, to help this market flourish. One of the things that's very important to us. And I want to echo everybody's sentiments when I tell you that in 2020, it's our commitment, it's our efforts, it's our belief that there is no technology, no solution that you can't have, that you can't use to better your bank. It's our efforts to go find those things and bring them to you in a way that's meaningful and works to support your efforts. Mission-driven innovation that you've heard here is what this is all about, being very focused. The founder of MTV, video killed the radio star, said, when asked what innovation was, he described it as two things that exist and combining them in a new way. Well, guess what? That's what you guys are. You are bankers in your communities, working hard, very focused, and we're bringing you together with these companies in a new and innovative way. And hopefully we are finding solutions that help solve your problems, because that really is our mission and our focus and our commitment. One of the greatest inventors ever, Thomas Edison, also used to like to say that the value is in using ideas, right? That is really what we're here to promote, is bringing these ideas, bringing these things to you, and finding a way for you to use them to better what you're doing in your banks. I will also just put a plug in for everything that you're doing is very important to us, and we need to hear from you. Seek us out. Tell us what works. Tell us what doesn't work. Continue to provide us the guidance, the knowledge, the expertise that you need so that we can continue to show the commitment, the leadership that you expect in this area of innovation. So one of the things that I'm very fortunate to do as well is work with these great people at the Venture Center. And it's my pleasure to introduce the man who actually makes it happen on a day-to-day basis, the Managing Director of the Accelerator Program, Brian Bauer. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you. Thanks, Charles. It's great to have finally co-opted you into our efforts at the Venture Center. We couldn't be more thrilled that ICBA hired him to spearhead their innovation efforts. Thank you for all that you have done for fintech innovation and all that you're going to do for these community banks as far as innovation is concerned. He certainly left his mark on this program already in just a few short weeks that he's been on board with the ICBA. As Wayne mentioned previously, entrepreneurship is challenging and it takes courage. And it takes courage because it's hard. And I know that a lot of the business owners and leaders in this room can appreciate the type of challenge that it is. So to build a technology company and a solution from scratch is very difficult. And it's kind of like building an engine from scratch. So if you'll indulge me on a little bit of an analogy here and just follow along. If you wanted to build an engine from scratch, what would you need? You'd need all the components, the machinery, the bearings, the valves, the cylinders, and all the rest. You'd need air, you'd need a spark, and you'd need fuel to make it happen. But you can't just throw the fuel into the engine and expect it all to take off, right? That's not how it works. You have to have the right mixture, and you have to have the right timing to pull it all together for that engine to run. And so is the life of being an entrepreneur, right? As you build your new company and you're building a solution, the fuel, that's really your capital. The air, that's your customers. And the spark is your sheer grit and determination to actually make something happen. And the machinery of the engine itself, that's the company that you're building. And just like a real engine, the timing is absolutely everything to pull all this together. And so now for a few curveballs to keep this analogy running and make it work. What if I told you that there is no instruction manual and that you had to design the thing yourself? And for a second curveball, what if I told you you just had a little cup of fuel to get started with to see if that engine would work, right? That would be a pretty challenging task and a fool's errand to try to do that alone and by yourself, right? Very few would succeed and actually build a company and get that engine running. So if you wanted to be successful, what would you need to do? You could surround yourself by people who had done it before, by subject matter experts and folks who could tell you what the design and spec and the output should be, right? Because you want the engine to work for the intended purpose, the thing that you designed it to do. As an entrepreneur, you have to do a lot of things. You've got to raise capital to fund the endeavor. You've got to find customers that want to buy the product. You've got to build the solution to match the customer's needs. You have to hire employees. You're spinning a lot of plates at one time. So ICBA ThinkTECH creates an environment where these very talented entrepreneurs can succeed. We're bringing all the parties to the table, the subject matter experts. It starts with finding great companies, solving validated problems, and then it involves bringing bankers, subject matter experts, technologists, and folks into the Venture Center to sit down and truly co-build these solutions with them. Now let me tell you about another challenge that these entrepreneurs face, specifically in financial services. So on average, if you're lucky, your company has about 6 to 12 months worth of capital. And in the venture world, we call this your runway. Well, the sales cycle in financial services is quite long. It's about anywhere from 8 to 18 months. Some quicker than that, but oftentimes it takes a long time to make a sale. So you can kind of see the math problem getting set up here that these entrepreneurs face. Their runway is shorter than their sales cycle typically in financial services, and this really prevents a lot of innovation from getting to the market. These entrepreneurs at ICBA ThinkTECH get the content, capital, and connections that they need and that are critical to their success in the long run. So together with the ICBA, we're joining forces together with the community bankers in one deliberate effort to explore new innovative solutions, accelerate product development, and get these innovations to market faster. Looking back at last year's companies, we can take a look at some of the early results from this, right? Adlumin, BotDoc, and Teslar, who are all in the room today, have all passed that high bar to become ICBA preferred service providers. MK is partnered with ICBA Bank Card with their credit card loan origination system that's already deployed with community bankers using this to originate credit cards. CapitalWise and Crisco made top 10 list on a major technology provider's top 10 apps for community banks this last year. So every one of these companies has a story to tell. And this year's companies have already accomplished a lot, and they're going to accomplish a lot more, I think, in the next year. And I can't wait for you to hear their stories here in just a moment. The 2020 cohort has solutions to improve the customer service experience for mortgage origination. and for commercial banking. They help you efficiently manage processes that are costly and laborious. They help you reduce fraud losses and gain customer insights, as well as turning those insights into action. So as you hear from these companies in just a moment, I do want to remind you to, if you haven't downloaded the ICBA Live 2020 app, download the app. We are going to vote at the end of all the presentations, and you do vote through the app to get that done. Before we jump to the companies, I want to thank Daniel Schutte, the program manager. He is critical to the success of these programs. The talent he brings to the table is really just remarkable, and none of this would work without him. So thank you, Daniel. And Nora, if you've been to the Venture Center in the last 12 months, you've probably met Nora. She keeps the trains on time. She spearheads a lot of the projects that we do that actually make this program work. So now it's my pleasure to introduce the 2020 ICBA ThinkTECH companies. And today we're starting with somebody who I respect a great deal as an entrepreneur. I think he is the definition of an investable founder, and I think you all are going to love hearing the story of Griffin. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Donald Hawkins, co-founder and CEO of Griffin.
Testing. Can you guys hear me okay? Everyone in this room has a very important job, not only to listen to 9 companies, but if you see this thing move, please tell me. I'm counting on you. My name's Donald Hawkins, and I'm the founder and CEO of Griffin Technologies. Everything for us starts with these. Do you remember these? To some, this is just a simple lollipop. But to me, this was the mission. Every other week, my mom and dad took me and my sisters to the local bank, and we knew that if we were on our best behavior, this would be the result. But this lollipop meant a lot more than that. It gave the local banker a few more moments with my folks. They caught up on life, talked about new businesses coming to town, even gave the banker the ability to sell my mom and dad the Roth account that I would eventually use to pay for college. Had even more meaning. These suckers gave the bankers the ability to build the most future and loyal customers they could have, my sisters and I. This is actually the bank we bank with, going all the way back to my great-grandmother. Every member of my family banked here. And when I tell you the people in this branch knew my family, I mean really knew my family. When my mom was pregnant with my little sister, they knew we needed a larger house. When my oldest sister turned 16 and with 3 younger siblings, they definitely knew we needed another car. Well, technically, she got the hand-me-down and my mom got the new car, but you get the drift. More importantly, in 1994, when my family and many families in my hometown lost everything, that bank came together with other community banks and helped us pick back up the pieces. You see, Albany, Georgia was in a 300-year floodplain, and it flooded around year 105. Very few families had flood insurance. So you could imagine what the big banks might say if you have a home that you need to get out of that is underwater. Well, the community banks had the relationships and took the risk on a lot of the families. As a result of that, my family was able to get a second home loan because they eased restrictions. Relationships like those of my family and many families like mine would prove to become community bankers' most effective tool. Context. Community banks were market leaders for every type of consumer service, home loans, auto loans, wealth management, you name it. But due to lack of adoption, legacy systems, and sitting on the sidelines, now too many non-banks have significant market share, and now some cases are even the leaders. Think about all the life moments that you all have been in front of. Little Timmy's first checking account, 10 years old. I remember when there was no direct deposit, right? So even that counts. First loan for college, home loan, weddings, all of the different moments that banks have the ability to be in front of. You guys already acquired the relationships. How do you own them? In fact, did you know that the average U.S. consumer spends nearly $5 million in their lifetime? That's a lot of moments that banks used to be first movers for. Banks are the people of truth, the source of truth for a lot of consumers. 48% of consumers want banks to be more involved in their non-banking decisions. In addition to that, 76% of consumers don't mind sharing their data in exchange for convenience. Don't believe me? Pull out your phone right now, delete Google Maps, and good luck getting back to the airport. We all know locals not too good when they give directions. Griffin Technologies is a real-time location data platform that connects banks to their customers in the moments that matter, be it homes for sale, auto dealerships, even deposit acquisition from competitive banks. We have a simple 5-step solution. First, banks embed our proprietary technology inside their mobile app. They then use our web tool to target the specific locations that they like to. Now, when your customers visit these locations, we provide your bank real-time actionable insights. And for those of you interested in acquisition, we have you covered as well. Let's think about the home buying use case. Everything used to start and stop in the bank, but now it's all digitized. Consumers go to Zillow first. They fill out a form. Zillow loves that. They sell that data to tons of banks nationwide, and most home buyers end up with a home loan from a bank 2,000 miles away, who then will sell it about 45 days later. Whole nother deal. But 5 minutes down the road from the home buyer's brand new house is a community bank that would have bent over backwards to serve them and probably even had a better deal. With Griffin Technologies, in just a few simple clicks, our banking customers can target single locations, bulk locations, residential real estate, and more. For real estate, simply choose your city or region and even the price range of the home you'd like to target. So for those of you thinking CRA, you're on the right path. And now when your customers visit these locations, we provide you the context you need. For single locations, think about geofencing competing banks or employers that you'd like to target as well, or the Gaylord Palms, for instance. So I was able to geofence the Gaylord Palms, and all of your phones have been geofenced, and you didn't feel anything. Today's Sunday, so there are thousands upon thousands of consumers in open houses right now. What would your bank do with the information of knowing your customers are in a home for sale at this very moment? With Griffin Technologies, we can provide you that trigger passively with a light lift. Think about activating your city. Your consumers right now and customers are going to tons of businesses, your CRA targets, commercial properties, wealth management locations, residential real estate locations, and much more. Griffin provides you the context when they show the intent. And for those of you interested in reaching prospective customers, we offer programmatic marketing and advertising that is able to reach consumers that don't even have your app and don't even bank with you. And we can do that for 30+ days cross-device, meaning an individual consumer not connected with your bank can go into an empty commercial property, and we can serve customized banner ads to that user cross-device, cell phone, tablet, laptop, and even connected TV devices like Hulu and Roku. Our team has accomplished a ton in a short amount of time. I personally spent 3 months as entrepreneur in residence in a community bank just like yours. And while there, I received key industry insights directly from the horse's mouth. The number one thing that I learned was that you guys absolutely love technology, but you don't like heavy lifts. And we took that in mind. My team has worked with large enterprise level banks and also multi-million-dollar customers. Another thing we like to point out is added value investors and advisors. We have bank CMOs, bank CFOs. In the bottom right corner, you'll see a beautiful picture of my guy, Brian McClendon. Brian's the co-founder of a company called Keyhole that was developed many years ago in Lawrence, Kansas. Google acquired this company also very many years ago. Today, you and I call it Google Maps. So having access to people like Brian and other investors and advisors really has us poised to do some amazing things for our banking customers. Simon Sinek always recommends companies start with their why. I also like to end with it. Pictured here are some of the most amazing people and favorite people in my life. My mom, my dad, my daughter, and my niece. My wife's technically over there somewhere. I love her too. Two completely different generations, right? And do you know what I've seen between both of them? Technological advancement. Now, don't get me wrong, technology is pretty cool, and I'm pretty sure we all have $500 plus phones in our pockets right now. But in the world of banking, technology has made things significantly transactional. You see, my mom and dad grew up in a world where they knew what it was like to have a relationship with a banker. I do too. Felt like somebody local having my back. Now, my daughter and niece won't likely grow up in a world going to banks. I mean, in fact, it might be more chat bots and texting as well, and I hope you guys are ready for that or getting ready. But for us, it's about more than that. Our job at Griffin is to make the world of banking personal again, and we're doing that by bridging the gap between relationships and the new world of banking. Now, for those of you who still are not convinced and you think this location stuff is all mumbo jumbo, I got a solution for you. We have geofenced this entire conference area, and technically the hotel rooms too, sorry. So you will likely be seeing our banner over the next 3 to 4 days. The first 20 banks that come to our booth and show us a screenshot of the banner that got served to them, we're going to show you how important location is if you lose your keys. Thank you all so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Donald. I love somebody that knows how to pronounce Albany properly. Thank you. Don't forget, download the app, find the session in there. You'll find the program will be opened up for voting at the end. So make sure you have that available to you. One of the other things we get to do is continue to work with some really phenomenal founders. And for another moment that matters, I have for you Kevin Shine, the Director of Sales and Partnerships. Yeah, come on. Don't wait. For fraud.net.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Kevin Shine, fraud.net. I want to thank everyone here for taking some time to listen to our story today. It's very important to us. And a huge shout out to the teams at the Venture Center and the ICBA. Their generosity and support made today possible. If there's any questions about our name and that hasn't been made clear yet, fraud.net, we focus on preventing fraud, not facilitating fraud, just to remove any concerns in the audience. But seriously, I want to talk about our friend Barbara here. Barbara's unhappy. Last week or the week before, she fell victim to an email wire fraud, netting fraudsters nearly $400,000. Unfortunately, she's not alone. Even with today's cybersecurity tools and software, protecting U.S. consumers and businesses from malware and email phishing attempts, the FBI estimates that last year alone, fraudsters netted nearly $2 billion in email wire fraud scams. Cumulatively, over the last 3 years globally, that's a $26 billion problem. On top of that, hackers are really good at what they do. Last year, acquiring over 164 million pieces of U.S. consumer and business data, providing that to fraudsters who have access to mine, to yours, to your customers' usernames, emails, passwords, and other PII. And when we look at the data, this trend is not slowing down. So what does this all mean in terms of data leakage to you and to your customers? Fraudsters are acquiring all of this data. They're assembling this information to commit crime digitally. Credit card abuse, loan application fraud, account takeover, creating synthetic identities. You guys have probably felt and seen a lot of this. And they're doing this all from behind the comfort of their own screens, their computers. Fortunately, fraud.net helps banks like you assess both digital transactions and behaviors in real time across payment types. So we're focusing on risk assessing transactions along ACHs, cards, both credit and debit, checks, deposits, mobile internet banking, sort of across that payment stack or across the payment rails. We currently support around 150 clients around the world. These banks and other organizations are using our case management software, our real-time analytics, our data mining capabilities, our data enrichment, and our custom machine learned models to leverage an end-to-end fraud stack across the payment rails. On any given month, collectively across our customers, we're saving them and their customers around $25 million in reduced fraud losses. But for purposes of today, I want to focus a little bit on the wire transfers and that phenomenon. And why wire transfers? We've been fortunate through the ICBA and the Venture Center to speak to nearly 75 banks and other organizations. And with all of this data leakage and concerns around business email compromise, wire transfer frauds and scams are one of their top 3 concerns. It's to the point where some banks no longer accept wire transfer instructions over email, requiring their customers to come into a branch location or facilitate that over a telephone. While I can respect the need to mitigate those risks, it does degrade the customer experience and drive up operating costs. To that end, fraud.net has developed an email add-in which resides natively within your Outlook and is downloadable from the Microsoft App Store. There's no integration. So what you're seeing on the screen here, this is reminiscent or an example of one of your employees who's responsible for facilitating or reviewing inbound wire requests. Now, in order to improve this user experience, you'll notice that there's a little logo down at the bottom right within the email. That's the fraud.net logo. You can click on that, and a tile will magically appear within the email client, giving you a risk score driven by machine learning and leveraging our collective intelligence network, highlighting an associate set of alerts that are popped off based off a rules engine that we're maintaining in the background, and then facilitating permissioning, approving or declining. All of this is indexable, searchable, archivable. You will note that the first alert actually says sender is not a known contact. So we're referencing all of that data in your address book and your emails, and that would have prevented Barbara's loss. And more importantly, there was a bank at the Venture Center earlier this week, it would have prevented a loss that they recently experienced. Now, if you need access to manage all of the rules and customize that experience, all of that can be leveraged in our case management portal. Case management, investigative piece, the alerts, the rules engine, that sort of end-to-end full-stack platform to manage your fraud solution, whether that be AML, BSA, whether that be cards, debits, credits, deposits. We're really agnostic regarding the payment type or the product that we're trying to support there. But tying it back to wire transfers and digging into the ability to add, delete, edit these rules all in real time, pulling up an alert here, which if there's a transaction over $10,000, we can automatically send that into a queue. So this is about automation of all of these policies and procedures. And again, as I wrap up this demonstration part of this, the fraud.net app, again, no integration. It's simply clicking out of the Microsoft App Store, and it's free of charge. Now, the power horse behind what we do is this concept of collective intelligence, collaboration amongst all of our clients. Fraud.net is facilitating real-time, anonymized data sharing. So we're helping all of our customers risk assess all these events, card transactions, loan application, credit card applications, and they're making decisions, and these decisions have outcomes, fraud or not fraud. Those outcomes are fed back over to fraud.net and feed into our collective intelligence, so that across the consortium of participants, the next time we see an email address, a phone number, a device, a mailing address, the first question we ask the system is, have we seen this before? And has there been fraud? Not just within your own walls, but collectively across all of our 150 customers. So it's the power of that network that is driving fraud protection at scale. To give you some sense of the scope, we're actively tracking 1 billion digital personas around the world and 10 million fraudsters in real time. Now, when you think about how fraud.net works with companies like you, we're currently supporting consumer banks, commercial banks, private wealth, wealth managers, and even some account and payroll individuals within the organization. Now, as we wrap this up and as you contemplate how to work with fraud.net, the email add-in is a low-touch, high-value, low-cost way to engage us initially. If your needs become more complex and you want ownership over your fraud stack, we can service you there as well too. Alternatively, if all you want to do is tie into our data networks, we can facilitate that as well. Again, the email add-in is free of charge and requires no integration. And I can confidently say that if Barbara was using that email add-in, as I showed you earlier, she'd be happy today as she wouldn't have fallen victim to fraud. As I wrap up, I want to say thank you and a special shout out to all the banks that made their way down to Little Rock and engaged with us personally. I can honestly say that they have impacted our product roadmap, and elements of what we've shown you today are a direct reflection of that. Come visit us at the ThinkTECH Hub and learn how to secure access to our email add-in app. Thank you.
All right, great job, Kevin. Great job. For this next company, we hear it from banks all the time. We have data, we don't know what to do with our data, we don't know how to utilize it. Exotica helps with that. I've known this next presenter for about 5 years. He's persistent and dedicated, and on top of that, he's a really great guy. And I consider him a friend. And one of the reasons I consider him a friend is because our kids play together, and more importantly, they get along. So that's extremely important, as you all know. So please join me in welcoming my friend Yogesh Pandit, founder and CEO of Exotica.
Thank you, Brian. He always does a great job of introducing me. I'm Yogesh Pandit, founder and CEO of Exotica. And after movements of matter and fraud, I'm going to talk to you about a subject that you all love, and that is compliance. I know it's a joke, but it's a serious matter. Sometimes it's more complex, and we all want to solve it. In the next few minutes, I'm going to speak and tell you how Exotica will help you simplify your compliance. I was a banker responsible for getting all that data that the regulators needed. And I always used to ask, why is it so hard? Now, I don't need to tell you what is compliance doing to you. It is increasing your operational cost. It's going high. And again, the question is why? Changing regulations, growth in fines, and more of this data, which sometimes it's difficult to get. When you get, it's difficult to use. And when you use, it's difficult to manage. So, another problem that goes along with operational cost is revenue is not growing as much as you want. So the first thing that we have done is solved your compliance problem by consolidating and automating it into one software. This sits on a platform that makes your data manageable and usable. And this manageable data can be used to increase your revenue as well. Now, what we are going to see very quickly in the video, how our software is simple, smart, and efficient to use.
Whether your business priority is reducing costs or growing revenue, Exotica can help you succeed with data. Our end-to-end solution is designed to be simple, smart, and efficient. First, we have a simple sign-up process. No unnecessary inputs are required. Our solution is built with strong security, so when you log in as a customer, the process remains simple but also safe. Next, choose what you want to do. Reduce costs by automating and consolidating compliance with SmartReg, or monetize data by identifying additional revenue streams with SmartPlace. Better yet, do both. Now let's get to the data. Easily port data into Exotica's platform by clicking on pre-integrated data sources, or by dragging and dropping the files from your system. It's that simple, and it's fast. While we aim for simple, we never forego security. So at this critical step, we add dual-factor authentication to ensure your data are integrated safely. Your screen will then populate with the types of reports to which you have subscribed. With a few clicks, the requested reports are processed. Simple, smart, and efficient. Now let's look at some outcomes. Our fair lending solution, pre-built with reports and dashboards, helps you investigate risk factors and be compliant. It also automates the audit trail, reducing risks and saving a lot of time. Now let's pivot from saving money to making money with data. Our SmartPlace solution will compare and analyze different customer data to help you succeed. You can generate reports that provide unique customer insights on products that make good business sense for the bank and help customers reach their goals. This kind of automated, data-backed intel helps you deliver exceptional, personalized guidance and service, effectively cross-selling and upselling based on data. You've got customer expertise and data. Exotica helps you monetize it. Looking ahead, we are building connectors with top CRM tools to increase the speed at which you can get these customer insights in the sales process. To save money and make money with data, partner with Exotica. Together, we succeed.
What you saw is our whole goal is to make compliance easy, user-friendly. Wasn't it easy to get the data? Then we showed you how it was easy to use it for your compliance as well as to increase revenue and monetize it. Now, this is how essentially we help banks to succeed with data. Now, there are many such stories, but I'm going to speak to you about two such stories. This is about a regional bank that had 5 vendors or technologies for their commercial lending reporting and analytics. And by the way, I love this story because we were able to consolidate all 5 into one, and we helped them to reduce their cost by more than 50%. What it also did was the resources that were there for compliance were repurposed for the activities that they really wanted, which is sales and revenue. Another example, just for one regulation one community bank has 3 vendors. What we are going to do is consolidate that into one. Again, less manual intervention, less errors, and they can repurpose this to do what you want to do. The best part is what customers talk about us. They are recognizing us for reducing their costs, access to advanced technologies, and they find our solution great and impressive. And I really like that. But what is more important also, that the industry has also recognized us as one of the top RegTech companies in several countries because of the automation using AI that we have done for data. We have been recognized as the best fintech company. And more importantly, we want to take this success to you and partner with you as well. So there is a special promotion for ICBA Live attendees, and we have made it simple for you to use it as well. If you take your phones out, just take a photo, then you just have to do it in less than 2 minutes. It is eligible for you to use it. If you find this difficult, come visit us at the booth at the FinTech Hub or ThinkTECH Hub, and I'll explain you what to do. I look forward to meeting with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yogesh, Exotica. One of the unique aspects about this program is we get to look around the world for companies to participate. That's a very unique proposition for an accelerator or an incubator program. Our next company comes to us from Israel, and to tell you about Vincent is Daniel Delson, the Director of Communications for Vincent. Let's give him a hand, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. The banking industry is estimated to save $400 billion over the next 3 years through the implementation of artificial intelligence technology. If consumer banks want to get a piece of that, if they want to plug into that savings and efficiency, they have to have the right tools in place. Welcome to the AI-enabled world of FinTech. My name is Daniel Delson. Oops. I'm the Director of Communications. FinTech was founded by 2 C-level executives with more than 20 years of experience in enterprise technology. Aaron Lazar, who's a specialist in regulatory and compliance in all payment ecosystems, and Moshe Teran, who's also a specialist in building enterprise technology platforms. The FinTech story started with 3 years of dispute resolution research. We worked with thousands of customers through the entire dispute lifecycle journey. And what we found was, while working with over 800 card issuers, with banks and financial institutions of all different sizes all over the world, on average, and this number was confirmed by MasterCard, it was taking 180 minutes or 3 hours for them to get feedback on their dispute. And that's on the bank side. On the customer side, that was translating into 46 days before they received feedback on their dispute. So why is it taking so long? There are a bunch of reasons. Visa and MasterCard frequently update their guidelines, as you know. It's very challenging, especially for a small bank, to keep even knowledge across all of the staff. With FinTech, you don't have to worry about it because it's built into the back end. Operational inefficiency also leads to customer frustration. The end result is the back of the wallet syndrome. So a customer has a bad credit card experience, bad customer service experience, and they just switch to a different card. We found that banks are spending, on average, $120 each time a dispute is raised. And that includes decisioning and processing the dispute. FinTech can save over 40% of that cost. And if you think about it, every 1,000 disputes, that's $1 million. So that's 40% off of all of that. Community banks are also burdened with invalid friendly fraud claims that human beings have to see are invalid. And FinTech has pre-dispute tools that will screen all of the information and identify invalid fake disputes from the valid ones so that human beings only have to look at the ones that are valid. So for all these challenges, the bank dispute platform has a three-pronged approach. You start with the digital onboarding tool, which is our digital dispute submission. It uses an AI-driven questionnaire that follows strict Visa and MasterCard guidelines, as well as a document uploader. And it takes all of that information from the customer's app, and it puts it into our AI predictive scoring engine. Then the Vincent engine generates a DON score, a dispute or not score. That, along with an optimal recommendation and auto decision, is then sent to your CRM, or you could use Vincent's own enterprise platform. So community banks that implement the bank dispute platform from Vincent will be able to reduce their overhead by 40% while reducing their workload on dispute resolution by over 80%. And this should lead to increased customer satisfaction, more spending, and because our API easily integrates into your back-end systems, it should be fairly easy for your team to implement and see the rewards quickly. So let's take a look at an example. You see on your banking app, you have a charge of $1,250, and maybe you know ET's tree services, but you're thinking, you know, that was supposed to be $1,000. I knew the guy who was supposed to give a deal. It obviously didn't go through. So this is valid, but it's the wrong amount. So I'm going to dispute the transaction right there on the app. I'm sent through the Visa MasterCard guideline-driven questionnaire. I put in what I should have been charged. I put in any other information that adds to my case. I have a receipt. I can prove it. And what's more, I could then click on my phone, upload or scan, use the camera from the phone itself, and take a picture of the print receipt for $1,000 proving my case. That is immediately transferred to the app, and within seconds, a case number will be generated, and that's it. Less than a minute. Now remember, that minute was 180 minutes or 46 days the old-fashioned way. 46 days, and this was a minute, okay? So that's going to improve your customer satisfaction. Plus, they're going to get their money sooner. So your bank dispute analyst on the bank side is going to see the CRM. If you use our CRM from Vincent, you can white label it with your bank logo there, or you could use whatever you're using, and our API will fit in the back end. So if Paul sees a list of all the disputes that have been logged for credit and debit cards, he can click on one, he can pull up the details, he can see what's been auto-decisioned, and this one's all the way in the green because we had that receipt proving our case. He can see the transaction and merchant data, and there's the proof in the pudding, the receipt. And everything's simple in one place. Other bank dispute analysts might have had to have gone to 4 or 5 different places to get all of that together over a much longer period of time. At Vincent, we take reporting and compliance very seriously, and so everything that you need as a community bank to stay compliant with all regulations is built right into our back end. No problem is too small, no problem is too big. We want to talk to you. We're interested in partnering with banks that want to revolutionize the way credit card disputes are processed. Thanks very much. I'll be at the ThinkTECH Hub at 2:30.
Good job, Daniel. So when it comes to tackling the challenge of the challenges of digital transformation, we hear it all the time that banks are looking for speed and agility to launch new solutions for their customers. So if that is a problem that resonates to you, I want you to listen to this next company because they're helping banks tackle this challenge, not just to build financial products that their customers can use, but truly build financial solutions that set them apart from everyone else. So everyone, please help me in welcoming to the stage Bhushan, the founder and CEO, as well as Brian, the VP of Sales, to tell you a little bit more about Finzly.
Thank you, Brian. Namaste. I am Bhushan Rangachari, founder and CEO of Finzly. With me, it's Brian Anderson, VP of Sales. I came to the US with $500 in my pocket, an engineering degree, and a dream. I'm happy to say that Finchley is living a dream. We have 50 employees, we have 10 banking customers, and we just crossed 3 million in revenue. Community banks have dreams. Community banks want to take their legacy forward for several more generations. You want to acquire more customers and grow your deposits. But customer expectations have changed. Their expectations have shifted. They are looking for better banking experience. Fintechs and digital banks, they are trying to fill this gap, and big banks, and they are investing billions of dollars, and some are merging. What can we do as a community bank? It's a huge challenge for us. The only solution is to innovate faster. Finchley is here to help you to innovate faster. How can we innovate faster when our legacy technology is slow, hard, and expensive? So instead of ripping and replacing your legacy system, we created a workaround. Instead of replacing it, we're working around the solution by creating a modern banking layer. It takes 2 to 4 months for us to connect to your core, and it's going to be free for the first 10 ICBA members this year. So basically, we are transforming your legacy core into a modern core. Once you have your modern core, we can deliver multiple applications as an apps. So different apps for your business customers that is going to be available through mobile and desktop channels, and you will also get access to real-time payment networks. So this is our modern banking experience. You will get access through both mobile and desktop. Plus, now you have a modern banking experience. Let's see how you can grow your deposits. Municipalities alone, they have over $1 trillion in deposits across the US. That's a lot of money. Each HOA have $2 to $3 million in deposits. Each university have about $65 million in endowment funds. And there are a lot more opportunities. You can talk about fintech banking, nonprofits, and that keeps on going. All these special customers, they need special tools and special banking services that Finchley delivers them for you. So with Finchley, you get access to RTP, ACH, FedWire, and FedNow when it comes available. Plus, you get all modern banking apps, ACH, FedWire, Positive Pay, that everything that you need for your treasury and cash management, plus specialized banking apps to grow more deposits and acquire customers. That's amazing. That's what you guys are looking for. That's what we are here to help you. All you have to do is, you simply have to subscribe, try it out, and if you like it, you launch it to your customers. If you don't like it, you can just delete, similar to your smartphone. Brian Anderson is going to give you a quick demo of our application.
Hi, everyone. In our Finchley App Store, you get standard modern business banking apps like bill pay, ACH, and wire payments. These sit alongside specialty applications for homeowners associations and municipalities and other types of business customers. In addition, we enable third-party applications in our App Store, ready to use, pre-integrated with your core banking system. Simply subscribe, try, and launch. Okay. You like it, you keep it. Delete it if you don't. Okay. Business online banking in our application is simple and easy to use. Any user can configure their own dashboard easily to their preferences. They can view all of their account statements and accounts activity. They can view their statements and notices over time. They can even use our online help to walk them through our application. In our payment app, they can make ACH and wire payments, view their payment activity, approve and authorize payments through dual approval, and then they can use our self-service user administration, saving the bank time and energy. Now let's look at our specialty application for homeowners associations. A property management user can see all the communities they manage in one place. They manage the users within those communities and manage their bank accounts. They can manage the homeowners in each community as well, just from the same banking application, adding new users and managing existing users. They also can send invoices, effectively a digital lockbox, electronically submitting bills and receiving payments. Once they send that invoice, the homeowner gets an email notification. The homeowner themselves logs into that same business banking application at your bank. They view their invoice, log in, see whether they want to dispute or reject or approve that invoice, and once approved, they put in their bank account details. The bank has everything they need now to make the payment. No mail, no stamps, no checks. All digital and friction-free. Bhushan?
Thank you, Brian. So this is how we help you to transform. Basically, the first step is transforming your legacy core into a modern core, because that's what you need to deliver the latest modern customer experience. Next, we give you applications that solve your solution needs, such as treasury and cash management needs for all wires, payments, positive pay, everything. Plus, we give you applications to address the specialty deposit customer needs. That's how you grow your deposits, acquire more customers. You can dream whatever you want, and we help you deliver more solutions. So far, we have developed solutions for municipalities and HOAs, and we continue to add more and more solutions to address more and more customers. For example, fintech banking and non-profit banking. We can keep on going like that. And we are here to help you grow your deposits, take your community banks for several more generations forward, and we look forward to seeing you at the FinTech Hub later this afternoon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bhushan. Thank you, Brian. Finsley. One of our next presenters has had a lot of success as a serial entrepreneur, and it's something that we really enjoy seeing come through the ThinkTECH Accelerator program. ThinkTECH, I'm a little thin today. Next up on stage with Wallet, Mike Vien, CEO and co-founder. Let's give it a hand for Wallet. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Hello, everyone. My name is Mike Vien. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Wallet. We've got 3 more pitches to go, but a quick show of hands. How many people here work at a community bank? Awesome, lots of people. Well, I'm excited to be here to talk about how we are helping community banks build relationships, better relationships with not just consumers, but with those local businesses. And as our name implies, Wallet is a smart digital wallet that pays cash back for saving as well as spending. And the novel part is that we do it with debit cards, your debit cards. What that means is there's no points, there's no coupons, there's no scanning of receipts, it's just cash. Before we get to Wallet, I'd like to share a couple of things, a couple of challenges of how we're helping community banks like yours compete. And the first one is by helping compete head-to-head with these large national providers. These big banks are in your communities, and they're spending billions of dollars on advertising. And as you know, they're stealing market share. They're taking market share even if they don't have a branch presence, because they're investing very heavily in mobile. And I think this slide does a really good job of illustrating the issue. And what it shows us is that, on average, we've lost 2 community banks every single day for the past 30 years. You can see that steady decline by that shaded blue area. And at the same time, you can see how deposits have increased. But the problem is that most of those deposits are going to those big banks. I see a lot of you nodding your heads, and that's good. But I want to make sure that this is clear for everyone, and that this trend is very real. And if we don't take action now, that's where it's headed, to just a few hundred community banks. And the number of banks that are declining isn't the only thing. The number of debit cards that are being used by households has dropped dramatically. And in some states, as much as 30%. And the reason is very simple. It's because we use credit cards in our everyday purchases. We use credit cards when we buy our morning coffee, when we shop for groceries, when we go out to eat, when we actually pay for vacations. And that's because those big banks and credit card companies are rewarding us. But that comes at a cost for a lot of consumers in the form of trillions of dollars of credit card debt. And that's also a problem and a lost opportunity for community banks. Speaking of big companies and rewards, there are companies like Starbucks that offer banking-like services that are siphoning deposits that used to be held at your bank, at community banks across the country. Who here knows that Starbucks has close to $2 billion in deposits on their mobile app? And that's crazy. Yeah, $2 billion. That's more than 95% of every single bank and credit union in the country. And I think it's time that we collectively do something about it. I also think that community banks are the key. As Kevin talked about, you guys are great at building relationships, quality service. You're all great at it. The challenge becomes when you try to transfer that expertise to mobile. And that's where Wallet comes in. Wallet is the digital extension to the personal relationships that your branches, your loan officers are building with your customers. But what we do is we help you create a new channel to build and strengthen relationships both with those small businesses, those local businesses, as well as those customers. And it's a win-win-win. And so what we do is we partner with one community bank per market. We offer a marketing program that delivers cashback offers. Those offers are linked to your debit cards, and they're paid predominantly through those local merchants. It's great for urban and residential communities, and it's actually excellent for everyone, young and old, and especially the 80% of the US workforce that lives paycheck to paycheck. So let me show you how it works. I'm going to demonstrate 3 things. And I'm going to show you how with Wallet we've automated budgeting, which is incredible. We've automated savings, which is even more incredible. And then best of all, we've automated cashback. And it's simply just by connecting your checking account to Wallet. So the first thing that we do by connecting your checking account, that enables us to provide automated budgeting. Our auto budget capability allows us to look in the transaction history, we look at the income and expenses, we look at the recurring bills, and it allows us to create and calculate a safe amount to spend. We call it the smart balance. You can see that at the top of your screen. We also take those recurring bills and we show them to your customers to help them better plan for their saving and spending. Now think about this for our young generation. My kids, your kids, our grandkids, they'll never write checks, right? They'll never balance a checkbook. So these 2 tools are very incredibly important. The next thing I want to show you is how we're automating cash back for savings, for saving money. And Wallet is different than every other app on the market in 2 ways, 2 fundamental ways. The first way is that we're the first product that can automatically reward people with cash back for achieving their personal savings goals. And if you can see at the top, it says reward balance of $50. I think you guys can see that. That cash back is locked. And the way you unlock it is by meeting 2 criteria. The first way is by actually saving money with our partner banks, hopefully some of you guys. And the second criteria is you have to use that bank's debit card. And when you do that, we notify the customer. They can unlock and redeem those rewards. And that cash back amount, say for that television there, that goes straight to their wallet balance. And they move that to their checking account so they can continue to save and spend. The second way that we are fundamentally different than every other app is that for the first time ever, your customers can crowdsource their savings goals. And what that means is we say, go ahead, shop. Add a photo to your goal, send it to your friends and family, and then share it on social media, email, or text. And think about this. This is a great way for these 2 services to not only drive deposits, but increase debit card usage. And it's an excellent way for the whole family and for their community of friends as a customer acquisition tool for you. The last thing, one more thing, we saved the best for last, and this is automated cash back for spending on your debit card. This is the wall. And what we do is in our community marketplace that we work with you on, our bank partners own this page. And it's filled with merchant offers in your community. We offer featured offers, nearby offers, trending offers. And Wallet aggregates, collects transaction data, location data, goal data, which allows us to deliver personalized, targeted offers to your customers right at the right time. They can shop for and look for these offers by category, by location. Now think about this as if this was your community. And we actually helped you power a marketplace that connected your bank with those small businesses, with those local businesses, and those customers. And those customers were using your debit card as that go-to card in their wallet, every day in your own communities. Okay, so we have 30,000 monthly active users, and we're proud to announce that we recently just won an award for Best Personal Financial App for Families in 2020 by the Simple Dollar. And we're just getting started. Thank you. So a quick recap of the benefits of working with Wallet. We can help you increase your card usage, which increases your interchange revenue. We can help you grow deposits in your loan activity. We can help you improve your ad spend and your marketing effectiveness, all the while helping you improve your customer loyalty and attracting a younger base, including those business customers. And so I'd like to close with a heartfelt thank you to the ICBA and their members, and the Venture Center team who have been fantastic. This has truly been an amazing and rewarding, not cashback, but rewarding experience for all of us. And so there's a reception at the end of the pitches. I look forward to meeting as many of you as I can. We are Wallet. Thank you very much.
Good job, Mike. Nice job. So did you all know that Little Rock was the birthplace of FinTech? Well, you're hearing a lot of pitches here today, so I'm going to make mine now too, all right? So back in 1968, a gentleman named Jack Stevens wrote another man named Walter Smiley a check to form a little bank data processing company called Systematics. And that transaction went down right in the very building where the Venture Center is located. And today, this is an important part, today you know Systematics as FIS. So Little Rock also has a history with data science. So while we can't say we invented data science in Little Rock, we sure as heck pioneered it throughout the 90s and the early 2000s. A company called Axiom was formed there that really pioneered this out for the ad tech world and pushed it out into the industry. So it's no surprise to me that a company like FI Works would form right there in Little Rock, Arkansas, bringing these two worlds together. Please help me in welcoming Keith Hinkle, founder and CEO of FI Works.
Thanks, Brian. So as Brian mentioned, I am the founder and CEO of FI Works, based in Little Rock. I've spent over 35 years in the financial services industry using technology to help banks grow faster. At Axiom, I was the Chief Technology Officer, and one of the things we did there was pioneer data science. Many community banks tell us today that it's difficult to grow faster, mainly in deposits, because they struggle to know what customers need and when those customers need those products and services. This usually results in ineffective marketing campaigns that are disconnected from your frontline staff and frustrated customers when they may get an offer in the mail that's totally inappropriate, or maybe even for a product they already own. Meanwhile, the big banks are using data, and the non-banks are using data to target your customers on a daily basis with personalized financial offers for products that they actually need. So this leads to some very large problems in community banking. Acquisition, as we know, is very hard. It's also very expensive. Once you acquire those customers, up to 28% of them tend to leave in the first 6 to 9 months of the relationship with your institution. After that first year, your older customers also tend to leave at a rate of up to 15%. And then finally, the customers that are left, up to 65% of those tend to have a single product or service with your institution that also leads to higher attrition. So for a $500 million community bank, that's $1.5 million problem a year in lost profit and acquisition cost just to replace the customers that have been lost for a specific year. So this is really where we came in and started developing FI Works to solve those particular problems. Now, we're not the only sales and marketing platform out there. There are lots of sales platforms. There's lots of marketing systems. So what makes us different than, say, a Salesforce.com? Well, the first is that we solve what we call the data dilemma. And that's all the siloed, separate systems that exist in your IT environment that make it difficult for your bankers to know exactly who has what product and what else they might need. The second is using advanced technologies like machine learning in a community banking environment to target people when they need products. We think that's a real game changer. And then finally, we draw high performance behavior so that we connect what's going on with the marketing team with what's going on with the frontline banker and measure the results of all of that to know exactly what's working and what's not working. In addition, we make the hard stuff easy by providing services along with every deal we do. It's baked into the price. There's no additional cost for that. So the first part, of course, is solving that data dilemma. This is the most difficult technical challenge, where we bring in data from many different systems. We've already integrated with core systems from all the 3 big vendors. And then we apply the intelligent targeting to that new data to drive new insights. What is this household likely to need next? What customers are likely to adopt mobile banking? Which ones aren't? Then we make that data actionable through the use of campaigns. And a campaign might be something as simple as driving out an email. It might be driving out a print campaign or a print offer. But we found, especially in community banking, the absolute best channel, excuse me, is your frontline bankers. So frontline bankers love this because it tells them what to do on a daily basis and how to really augment what they already do as a community banker to make those relationships better. As I mentioned earlier, we measure everything, including performance of all the campaigns and the performance of individual bankers' actions. And we host all that on a secure data center in Little Rock, Arkansas. So we're going to take a look at a quick demo here, and we're going to start this off by looking at a profile. And so the purpose of looking at the profile here is to look at the type of data that got pulled together and what an end user would see when they look at it. So we searched for a guy named John Durham. You can see from the profile here we brought data in this case from 17 different sources, including profitability systems, digital banking, and the core. Once that data is in the system, we have many, many different dashboards that allow you to slice and dice that data to look at specific problem areas. In this case, what we're doing is looking at segmentation of your deposit customer base. And this is usually the first time that a marketing person can really look at what segments are best for different type of products. As with all our dashboards, we can drill down to get more and more information so you can get into the details. Intelligent targeting is the next step. So what we do with intelligent targeting is we build and deploy machine learning models that help you predict what your customers' needs are. In this case, in the example, we've identified almost 1,400 opportunities for certificates of deposits for the top needs of a particular customer segment. Below that, you see some examples of scores and some of the data that goes into those scores. And finally, you can also look at mapping in the application. The next step is to build a campaign that strictly uses those predictions. In this case, we're targeting those households and generating sales opportunities that are going to go out to a branch banker. Now, kind of jumping back to what the branch banker sees, they'll really see two components that they use on a daily basis. One is a scorecard that helps them know exactly where they are with the key performance metrics that you set up for them and how close they are to reaching those goals. And, as you can see from the red dot, any performance areas that need more attention immediately. Next, they look at tasks that were generated for them. These could be onboarding tasks, relationship building tasks, event tasks like CDs that are about to mature, or in the case of our friend John Durham that I showed you earlier, there's a prediction from that campaign that says John is a perfect candidate for a certificate of deposit. They click on that, they view the customer profile, they contact the customer, they indicate the result, and then they go on to the next activity. So that was all about customer data and cross-sell. We also apply the same type of technologies to prospects. We can help acquire prospect lists for prospects around your branch locations, create models around those so you know which ones are most likely to buy which products, and then distribute those out to your individual bankers. So here are 3 case studies that show some pretty amazing results that we've been able to get for our customers. The first, of course, is a deposit acquisition campaign. Again, a deposit acquisition being expensive. We generated over $50 million in new deposits over a 6-week campaign that was strictly a print campaign. The second example is a cross-sell campaign where we generate over $25 million in deposits with an ROI over 3,300%. And the final is one where we were targeting non-interest income, and we're able to go in and target people that didn't have debit cards for cross-sell. And that generated over $700,000 a year in new non-interest income. For one bank, in 3 campaigns, we generated over $100 million in new deposits. So, today we have over 1,800 bankers using the platform on a daily basis. And we can implement it in 4 to 6 weeks, which for a platform like this is pretty amazing. And then week 7, what we do is we target 1 or 2 campaigns that can pay for the whole system on an annual basis going forward. So love to talk to you more. Come down and visit in the ThinkTECH Hub. And again, I'd like to add my appreciation to the ICBA and the whole program that we've been involved in, and for you, the members. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Keith. While the wizard told the people of Oz and Dorothy, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, we can't do that. Say hello, Daniel.
Hello, this is Daniel.
All right. We couldn't be doing this without Daniel. Thank you, Daniel. He deserves a big round of applause. Yeah. One of the other interesting aspects about this program is we get to find entrepreneurs who've had a lot of success in other industries, in other markets, who have unique technologies that have great applicability to this community bank marketplace. This next presenter is a perfect example of that, and to show us Fintel Connect, the Chief Revenue Officer, Alana Levine. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles, and thank you everyone for making it out here today. We really, really appreciate it. I'm Alana Levine, and I'm one of the founders of Fintel Connect. I'm thrilled to be here today to talk to you about an opportunity that every community bank in this audience, no matter their size, can benefit from. You may not realize that 86% of people will do some sort of research online before being able to choose a financial product or bank. But what you may not realize is that those people are actually now 4 times more likely to go to a digital source for advice. So I'm going to do a show of hands here. Who here in the audience has recently launched a product that supports digital account openings? Okay, not what I say. I got someone over there. So maybe keep your hand up if you've been satisfied with the results that you've been seeing. Okay, I got one of these. Okay, now keep your hands up if you've been using digital marketing to try and grow those results. Okay, good, fabulous. Now for those of you who haven't done this and haven't started to use digital marketing, the time to start is now, and it doesn't have to be as big or scary as you think. And these numbers really tell you why. So as I mentioned, these people who are doing this research online are going to places like mybanktracker.com or thesimpledollar.com. Has anybody heard of these sites? I got one in the audience. Fabulous. So these are just 2 examples of the many places where these people are actually going to do this research about what financial products they want to work with. Now, as a community bank who's looking to grow and to reach your customers, how do you get to be in these places? And how do you do it so that they understand your value and in a way that you can do it cost effectively? The good news is we can help. Fintel Connect is a performance marketing solution that's working with community banks to help you grow your brand presence online and to save up to 70% in your cost of customer signups. Now, there are 3 key aspects to how we do this. The first, we give you access to these places where your customers are already doing research online. 2, you have our team to support you in connecting you with these places. And the third, and the most important, is we give you the tracking and reporting tools so that you can actually measure where your marketing dollars are making the biggest difference. So that means you're no longer having to guess which 50% of your marketing spend is working, because we can tell you exactly where those marketing dollars are making the biggest difference. Now, before I continue, I'll talk about the 4 key components that actually make this type of marketing work. The first is using our tracking and reporting technology to help us connect to your bank and actually tie marketing campaigns to real customers. The second is giving you access to these places and putting in specialized tracking links to incorporate into their content, their blogs, their video, newsletters, things like that. The third component is then tracking, using those tracking links to allow us to follow those customers from the point at which they've come through those digital places to actually sign up to your bank. And the fourth is the measurement, having the tools to really report and understand what's really working. Now, who else are these digital outlets out there? I talked about 2, but Fintel Connect actually has a growing network of over 1,000 of these influencers, publishers, marketers, YouTubers. They're content sites, they could be reward sites. We even work with specialty sites. So for one example, we had a client who offered a GM credit card. So what do? We work with car sites to help them build their brand's exposure there. The next is our team. How does our team work with yours? In understanding your goals, we can connect you to these places in your communities where your customers are. In some cases, we've actually helped banks grow up to 86% of their month-over-month achievement in mortgage accounts. So that regional bank, that was a 10 times growth in what they saw the year before, and they had never used performance marketing before. And it was also a 3 times increase in efficiency. In another case, we were the second most cost-effective source of new customers, second only to organic search. And we actually represented 45% of their total new approved credit card customers that came through digital channels. So in these 2 examples, you can see that we can start small. We can work with 2 of these places, or we can work with 500, or anywhere in between. It's really easy to scale. So the final piece is, how are we able to tell that this was all working? We used our tracking and reporting technology to allow this to happen. We want to give you full transparency so you can track and see end-to-end reporting on which marketing campaigns are actually bringing you real customers. So in this example, a bank partnered with MortgageExperts.com, who referred 466 people to apply for a mortgage. Now, the really cool thing is that the bank actually only paid for the 175 customers that were approved for the mortgage. Pretty cool, right? Now, let me walk you through a real-life example. My friend John just moved to Florida, and he needs to open a new bank account. So where does John practically go? Straight to Google. So he starts doing some research and comes across an article by mybanktracker.com. He clicks to read more and starts scrolling through the article and finds a section that talks about the benefits of actually working with community banks and his local bank near him. He sees an ad for your bank, and he's intrigued, and he clicks to learn more. Behind the scenes, My Bank Tracker is actually using a Fintel Connect tracking link. So now we can follow John through his journey to becoming a customer at your bank. Once John successfully signs up, we can actually look to see in the reporting that My Bank Tracker has successfully referred a new customer to your bank. You can then log into this reporting dashboard and really easily see not only My Bank Tracker's performance, but the performance of all of your digital campaigns. Your marketing team can even use this tool to track their social media campaigns, email campaigns, and any other channel that they're using. The idea here is giving you the tools to have a clear picture of where your marketing is best working for you. So to come full circle now and come back to the goal, Fintel Connect's mission is to help community banks to just dip their toes in the water of digital, to get to be where your customers are, and to do it cost effectively. In working with us, you'll get to have your brand be where those customers are. You'll have the tools to be able to easily track and measure your results, and you'll have our team to support you every step of the way. The opportunity is here today, and we're really excited for community banks to be able to take advantage. So for those community banks who are in the audience and they're ready to get started, the time is now. We're really excited to talk to you, and we welcome you to come find us at the ThinkTECH Hub after the presentations. Thank you so much.
All right, when we surveyed community banks before we started recruiting for this ThinkTECH Accelerator, one of the top concerns was mortgage, right? How do we continue to compete in mortgage? More than half of the mortgages are being originated by non-bank lenders today, and so much of this obviously driven by regulatory compliance and the challenges there, but ultimately, this is somewhere that banks need to continue to compete, right? We know how important it is in the customer life cycle in their financial lives to be able to get a mortgage, and how important it is for a bank to really capture them into their ecosystem. So you talked, you spoke, we listened. So now it's my pleasure to welcome AK and Jem, co-founders of LendSmart, to the stage, who are really trying to help solve this problem and keep community banks competitive with mortgage. Thank you.
Good afternoon all. I'm AK, the founder and CEO of LendSmart. I'm here with Jem, our co-founder and COO, and we stand for smarter lending. Now, before we all get started here, let's all raise our hands if you've ever purchased a home before. All right, so everyone has. Keep your hands up if you enjoyed that process. We can all agree the home buying journey is painful, and here at LendSmart, we've built an AI-driven digital lending platform coupled with a home buying marketplace. Now, what that means for our community banks is we're able to save you money, save you time, increase your profits, and allow you to build deeper relationships with your customers. So what is the problem? I've actually gone through the home buying journey over 23 times. Yes, 23 times. And during those journeys, we've noticed two separate issues. The mortgage process, we can all agree it's slow, manual, repetitive, and lacks communication. And the home buying journey, it's a black hole, confusing, and stressful. Did you know 68% of first-time home buyers are millennials who drop out during the process? 75% of all borrowers want a digital solution. And 50% of applications end up failing. And over 55% of all mortgages were issued to first-time homebuyers. So here is the current journey. It has a minimum of 16 steps. Each step can take days, weeks, and even months to complete to move on to the next. And it's an average 60-day process. Now here's the LendSmart journey. 8 simple steps, and most happen instantly. We've taken a lengthy mortgage application process and cut it down into 10 minutes. Yes, 10 minutes. We give our home buyers the power to close within less than 2 weeks. So you guys must be thinking, what is the solution? Simple. Provide that home buyer with that one digital journey. We take our home buyer through the mortgage application process and provide them a marketplace for all their home buying needs through one digital experience. Now, for our community banks, we're able to reduce the time to close on the loan, increase the number of loans processed, unifying all participants who are part of the home buying journey, and providing operational cost savings with an affordable digital solution. And now for your home buyer, that true end-to-end digital experience. Now here's how we make it happen. We've created an ecosystem of real-time service providers, from instant verification of assets, income, identity, and employment. And by unifying all the advisors and experts to the LendSmart platform, we're able to speed up the process to close. Now I'd like to introduce our team. We have Jem and we have Kishore in the back. The team has over 56 years of industry experience. And we're made up of technologists, real estate agents, real estate investors, and loan officers. This solution has been truly built by the industry. Now, over to our demo. We'd love to show you how it all works. Jem, you want to take it away?
Sure. Thanks, AK. So your home buyer's journey starts by providing a property address, a city, or a town, where we gather data from it, such as property price, property taxes, HOA fees, and location information. Then they move on to a conversational style platform where they start answering questions that are required on a 1003 application. Our AI is taking those answers and starting to build out that 1003 application in the background. We also give them 4 different options to provide documentation. Let us do it for you, cloud storage, their computer, or emailing pictures of their documents. Let us do it for you allows us to instantly verify income, assets, and employment. The home buyer logs into their financial institution, and we gather the financial data that's required for the 1003 application. We've partnered with cloud storage providers, so it's easy for your home buyer to download documents from either the cloud or their computer. We've also partnered with a company to provide a frictionless way of sending pictures of their documents. On the left-hand side, you'll start noticing our AI is working those documents. They're going from gray to yellow to green. Our AI is interpreting, analyzing, and creating new documents that are required for the loan package. After that's completed, the home buyer will start creating their own team of advisors and experts from their social, personal and professional networks, such as a real estate agent, a home inspector, a real estate attorney. We've also partnered with companies that provide instant home insurance and moving quotes that completes the process. As you can see, they're building their team on the right-hand side. After they built their team, they go to their personalized dashboard where they can truly understand the loan details. Those loan details include the payment structure, such as principal, interest, property taxes, PMI, home insurance. What loans they have also qualified is on there on the left-hand side. They start playing around with the numbers to really truly understand debt-to-income ratio. We also give them a high-level look at their closing costs. Get them a good understanding of what's involved, what the structure is, what some of the fees might be. Then they move on to completing the auto-generated disclosures and letters of explanation. In this example, you're going to see a letter of explanation. Our AI has identified a large deposit within their financial statements. They need to provide an explanation for it. After they do so, they actually sign it, and now it becomes part of the loan package. The next you're going to see is the view a loan officer would have. These are all the applications. They click on the one they're working on. They can see it in high level. The team that the home buyer has created, the documents that have been provided, that have been completed by the AI engine, and any other tasks that need to be completed as well. We've also created a communication platform to unify all participants of the transaction. So in this example, you can see a real estate agent requesting a new pre-approval letter. The loan officer has simply dragged and dropped that new pre-approval letter into the chat platform and delivered it. This solves two major pain points for a loan officer: lack of communication and always chasing down documents. Back to you, AK.
Amazing. Thank you, Jeb. Guys, as you can see, we are truly providing a customer experience that is focused on the end-to-end journey for both the home buyer and the lender. And for our community banks, we're able to improve your accuracy, minimize your risk, increase the number of loans processed, all by reducing your operation and origination costs. LendSmart provides both parties a solution the industry has been demanding. We'd like to thank the ICBA team and all its members, and guys, together, let's make mortgages great again.
I'm going to try and make an acronym out of that. All right. Let's give one last round of applause to all these entrepreneurs, huh? Yeah. So now's the time we want to vote for the Banker's Choice Award. I know some people have voted already, but if you voted already, I think they told me that it was getting deleted. So you'll have to vote again because voting is just now open. So I'm going to walk through this on the stage here, and then what we're going to do is hear from two of the companies from last year while we're tallying the votes, and then we're actually going to award the Banker's Choice Award here on stage. So I'm going to walk through the app right now, and so if you don't know how to do it, just follow along with me. I want you to open up the ICBA mobile app, go over, and I'm going to vote myself right here on stage. I'm going to go over to Schedule, scroll down, find the ICBA ThinkTECH Showcase session, click on the Best in Show poll, and the voting question is, which ThinkTECH solution is most likely to help your bank flourish? So we're all just going to take a moment here and scroll down. All right. I think my vote has been submitted. So now we're going to hear from Joe Earhart, who is last year's Banker's Choice Award winner, the founder and CEO of Teslar. And we're also going to hear from Tim Evans, the co-founder and CEO of Adlumen, one of the sponsors of this session and alumni from last year, and Kevin Tweddle as well. We're going to check in with these companies really quick, see where they are 1 year later. Come on up, guys.
Thanks, Brian. And how about one more round of applause for these wonderful entrepreneurs here. So while we're tallying the votes, I thought it would be good to kind of hear from folks who went through the program last year. And these are two of our superstars from last year. And just thought we'd catch up with them and really have two questions for them that I'd like for them to address. And really one, what they thought of the Accelerator program, kind of what it's meant to their company. And number two, kind of what have they been up to over the last year, and you know, how has it been working with community banks? So, Joe, you want to kick us off?
Sure. You know, I was kind of thinking about this, what it meant to my company. It's meant a lot. Now, what it meant to me personally, my kids aren't so ecstatic. They're like, hey, Dad, you travel a lot now. You're visiting banks across the country. They may not be as ecstatic about the, kind of how things have gone, but I really think, this program kind of took us from accelerating to flying. So now we're flying and we're having to learn how to scale. And there's a lot of challenges. I would say the number one thing that we want to keep to ourselves as we work with community banks is always remember it's the personal service. As you have personal service with your customers, we as a company, as we grow, have to keep personal services. The ThinkTECH, though, took us from that idea stage. We had good customers, but really took us to a full-fledged company. And that's a real big key to us, is to keep that kind of that personalized mindset. Last thing I'll say, though, for the bankers in the room, it also gave us opportunities to meet with you and talk to you every day. And if you're bored at 7 in the morning tomorrow, I have a speech on how to automate your bank. So I just want to throw that out there. But, I can't say a thank you enough to the ICBA and how it's really progressed and moved Tesla along. I'm sure I have a few more things to say, but I'll let kind of Tim step in there.
Sure.
So, Kevin, you may not know this. I know that Wayne does, and definitely Brian does, but at Lumen, we went to an accelerator back in 2016. It was, we'd launched in June, and we went to this accelerator from August, September, October, and it was okay. I wasn't really sure I wanted to go. Then, so we operated for about 2 years before we finally went to the ICBA accelerator, and we learned so much. We'd already been pursuing the financial sector for our compliance and automation security tool and compliance tool. And, but when we went to the ICBA Accelerator, we learned so many things about banks, because guess what? Guess who came in? All those banks that flew into the ICBA Accelerator, we so appreciated that. It was awesome. And we learned so many things that, features that they expected in our product, and we started implementing during the accelerator. In fact, we launched the FFIEC CAT, the cyber assessment tool, in our platform during the accelerator, because we learned it. We learned so much. It was awesome. So
that's great. You guys talk a little bit about number of community banks you're working with, and share a little bit of that.
Sure. I think the coolest stat, hands down, what the ICB Accelerator did for us is before the ICB Accelerator, we did about 4 demos a month. A quarter, 4 demos a quarter. My team this morning told me that we were up to, I think, 40 demos so far this year. And so it really progressed us from just, going along, grabbing a bank here or there, somebody refers us, and made us national. We work with banks today from about 50 million in assets up to 21 billion, and across the country. We've got the opportunity to work with a lot of the ICBA banks, Pendleton, Bank of Zachary, and others that just, without the ICBA ThinkTECH, I don't know if we had even got the introduction. So for us, this program really propelled us forward. In fact, I would say it actually gave us some new challenges. And like I said, that is, how do you maintain great customer service and grow? And that's where we're at today. And it wouldn't be possible at all if it wasn't for this great group, from DC, from the ICBA to the Little Rock group. And I love the fact that the accelerator, and I hope it stays that way, was in Arkansas, because that's where I'm from. So, woo pigs.
What was the question again, Kevin? So I guess since we launched from the accelerator, we spent really literally about 5 or 6 months kind of implementing the things that we learned during the accelerator. We were already a company. We were already selling to financial institutions. But, as we implemented those things, then we started talking to Kevin and Adam Mahoney from ICBA. And eventually, I think it was in October, November, we became a preferred service provider. And I know they don't rubber stamp this thing, because they asked us so many questions, and we answered them properly, apparently. So, yeah. But we just passed 50 financial institutions as customers for our SIM, our Security Information Event Management platform. We have other customers besides that, companies like Rico Copy Machines. I don't know. They like the financial SIM. So, but we're really, really enjoying our partnership with ICBA. Every month we're doing webinars to help educate on security information event management platforms. What do you need? What should you expect from a next-gen SIM? And it's not selling our product, it's teaching customers what they should look for. In fact, I went to Virginia Bankers Association last year, just got back from Missouri Bankers Association, where I taught them an hour class on what they should expect in a next-generation security and compliance automation tool. And it was funny. Afterwards, I asked the question, did I sell my product? And they said, no, you did not. And I said, when you go out there, I want you to talk to every company that does this. You're going to know more than most of their sales staff, guaranteed. So.
Well, good. You know, obviously, in working with some of the community banks, any stories you'd like to share on some of your experiences with those banks, or kind of working with those banks? Or maybe was there a kind of a moment, you know, where you kind of realized that, you know, this was the right industry for you guys to work in?
You want to start?
Sure, I'll start. Well, let's see. So Investar Bank is one of our banks now out of Louisiana. And I remember when I was at the accelerator, I got a call from their CIO. And he said, you know, Tim, I've been looking at SIMs for a long time, for about 4 years now. I've looked at all of them. And I just can't find one that does what we need it to do. And I said, well, ours does this, 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 and this. And he goes, nah, I don't think so. Well, we talked for about 5 months, off and on. We did a demo for him. Then he said, I'm ready to do a proof of value. We did that proof of value, and he said, Tim, your SIM did everything that you told me it did. And he said, I'm amazed. He used to come up to Gartner's conference, right, up in June every year. So, but yes.
Great.
So one of the things you said is right industry. You know, honestly, I got into banking 21 years ago because I was out in the fields cutting thistles, and somebody said, hey, would you like to be a teller? I said, well, that sounds a lot better than cutting thistles. Let me try this out. My first day, I realized that some people had banked at the bank for 70 years, literally, and I AD'd the wrong people, and chose some very choice words were used to describe my ability. But I managed to stay and get through it, and you know, I've loved the industry. One of the things that I love doing as we travel across the country is as we work with community banks, the most common thing that I'll hear, and that's what we get to do and bring value, is I'll hear, I've only worked at this bank. You know, I love this bank. I've been here for 31 years. I don't know how others do it. So one of the things I tell my team all the time is, you know, at Tesla, we're not just bringing a solution. We've got to bring other opportunities, ideas that they may have not seen in that community. We've got to take the best of breed across all the banks we work with and really drive home efficiencies. And so, you know, we like to say we empower bankers, but the way we do it really is just thinking outside the box, sitting there and talking to bankers. And I love it. I know my kids hate it because I have to travel a lot, but I was in Wisconsin. I was in my home state of Arkansas. You know, you asked for a stat. We technically today cover 40% of all loan assets in Arkansas are inside managed by Tesla. And so, you know, I love traveling, meeting with banks. I was in Syracuse, Kansas not too long ago, and I'll be back in Louisiana, I think, in a couple of weeks, or I'm sure, or not too far away. But I love visiting with community banks and just hearing their stories, and then at the same time helping them realize that there's a way to do it. The way we've always done it may not be the better way. And so we'll say, hey, here's what you could do to really drive your bank so that you're not just surviving, you're thriving. And that's really kind of our goal and vision.
That's what we like to hear. Thanks, Jeff. Well, guys, thanks for sharing your experience. You know, we're thrilled to have you in our program, and really it's wonderful to see the success you guys have had, and hopefully you will continue that for many years to come. So I look forward to working with you.
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kevin.
All right.
Come see us at booth 424, though. I am the ultimate.
Well, I think we have a winner. Do we have a winner? We do have a winner. So I'm going to have Joe up here. Now, again, Joe won this award for Tesla last year, and we chose to kind of do kind of a green jacket moment. So it's always nice to have, you know, the winner pass on this precious trophy. You can see it's a beautiful trophy here. And let me just kind of read it here. It's a 2020 ICBA Live Banker's Choice Award winner. And drum roll, please. The winner is, wow, this is all wrapped up. Griffin. Donald, come on up.
I hope this brings you as much success as it's brought us.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to Donald. How about one more round of applause? Awesome. We get a real fist bump for that. So, well, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you for being here for the showcase. Again, our folks are going to go to the ThinkTECH hub, so please spend some more time with these folks there, and obviously on into the welcome reception. So, thank you so much, and we'll see you later. Thank you.